again, like the way we came out. I don't feel much different than I felt after the game, after watch tape. Like the way we came out. Our kids locked in, ready to go fight, ready to go win a football game, ready to attack. Offense obviously has a very good first drive and sets a really good tone for us. And then we get a couple key turnovers. Offense get 10 points off turnovers. John Saunders makes a great punch out on a bang route. And then we get another turnover down inside their territory and tight, and we punch it in. And then you got a lead, and you got them where you want them. From that point, struggle to move the ball offensively against a really good defense. They're really athletic. They play man coverage and dare you to throw the ball, and you got to make plays one-on-one, which is difficult at times. They do a lot of things up front to junk the front to protect against a run, and they got a lot of really athletic guys in there making plays. So it's always choppy against them, but we struggled to move it. Defense didn't play as, and Cincinnati's good on offense. They got a bunch of great athletes, and they hung 800 yards on us a year ago, but didn't execute as well that second quarter. The last 6 minutes of first half are bad. We get the ball with 6 minutes. Quick possession for us. We get a stop. Turnover for us. They go 80. We can't let them go 80 after the turnover. We had chances to get off the field and didn't in that drive. And number of times we had a chance to get off the field, had them in longer yard situations, and they out-executed us. But we got to do something on offense in one of those two possessions so that they don't have two more. When we have the ball with 6:11, they shouldn't get two more possessions in the first half. And then that gave them their lead. Second half, our defense played pretty well. They hit the one big play on us. Was not terrible coverage, pretty good throw and catch. We got to find a way to get the ball out there, but it's not like we got beat bad. They made a little better play than us. And then we got a chance, even we're still hanging in, and we put together a nice drive, and we get down there inside the 10, and we got to score there like we talked about. If we score, it's 31-24 in the fourth quarter, and you got a chance to win a game that you really want to win. Then we have a chance right after that with the turnover. Opportunity on a deflected ball, which would have been inside their 10 again, and we didn't. So that stretch right there, we had a chance to really have an opportunity to win a football game, and we didn't get it done in either instance. And then they closed us out. So like the way our kids fought, like the way they competed, like the way they came after them. Obviously, way different story than a year ago. Totally different game. Physically, we matched up significantly better, even though they still had an advantage, size, strength, and speed on us. Offensively was a chore. We didn't run it particularly well. Had a hard time getting open to create opportunities to throw the football. There wasn't as much lack of execution in our passing game as it was having open receivers to execute, So we try to do some things to pick them and stuff, but had a hard time getting open. So moving forward, obviously, Northwestern, first thing when I think of Northwestern, I think of Randy Walker, and I didn't know Randy Walker. I knew of Randy Walker. I knew of him when he had a great run here at Miami, and then I knew what he did at Northwestern. If you follow college football, you know what Randy Walker did. Then obviously coming here, fortunate enough to become friends with Tammy, Randy's wife, and one of our biggest supporters of Miami football, and just an awesome family, the Walker family. So when I hear Northwestern, and then you think Miami Northwestern, kind of like when you say Northern Illinois and you think of Bill Mallory, like very rare does you have a guy that's tied to both places that means so much to Miami football. So that alone means a lot. I know Tammy's going to be there. I know she will be very neutral because she has great ties to both places, but I know we will fight extra hard for the Walker name for the Miami side of the Walker name. It'll mean a lot to us. I know it means a lot to me. I know Tammy means a lot to me, and what Randy did here. And Coach Patton played for Coach Walker, and Coach Patton worked for Coach Walker at Miami and Northwestern. So there's a lot of connections at just this game. Then obviously Chicago, we got a great alumni base in Chicago. Tons of Miami alums and football alums are from Chicago, and really from that near north side areas where a lot of our people are from. So and then obviously me and my wife are from Chicago, so going back home is pretty cool. And again, it's amazing because I'm from Chicago. I've never even been on Northwestern's campus, so it's my first trip, like Kentucky for me, my first trip to Northwestern. I know they got these brand new great facilities. I got a ton of respect for their coach. Has done an amazing, was a great player. And then has become a great coach. They're as well a coach football team year in, year out. I'm not saying every second, but I'm saying over the course of the last decade, when you think of well-coached football teams and teams that play the game the right way, you think of Coach Fitz and you think of Northwestern. That's why they've had the success. And they're in the Big Ten, and Northwestern has great athletes, but they certainly don't have the athletes of an Ohio State or Penn, and they seem like about every other third year they're in the Big Ten championship game and beating a bunch of people, and it's because they got really good football players and they are good athletes, but they also play the game the right way on OD and special teams. And he's a Chicago guy. I've got to know him through the years. Just have a ton of respect for what he's done there. And then obviously, like institutions, they pride themselves on having the best student athletes in the country, and we pride ourselves on having the best student athletes in the country. So it's very, very like-minded university. I think it's very like-minded football programs. I don't think how we approach things and how they approach things are much different from trying to do things the right way and play the game and respect the game. And so it's Big Ten opportunity. It's on the road at another great venue. So it's again, 3 out of the 4 out of the shoot for us are opportunities that are a blast, and again, our kids, we haven't got one done yet, but we came to Kentucky and I feel like we took advantage of the opportunity. We came out swinging, and then obviously last week in Paycor Stadium, we came out and our kids are excited about, and we're a little beat up, after 2 of these 3, and we got a lot of guys on the mend, and I don't know who's going to play, who's not going to play, but there's a lot of guys not going to be practicing on Tuesday, but we're going to do everything we can to get our guys as healthy as we can, and we're going to show up in Evanston the same way we showed up in Kentucky and the same way we showed up last weekend and going after Northwestern. So we're really excited about this opportunity. We know the challenge ahead. I wish they didn't get upset last week. That's we'll get their best. We'll get the best version of Northwestern. I know they take a lot of pride in how they do things there, and they're going to play their best football this weekend, which will make it tougher, but that's the way it goes sometimes. But we're very, very excited about this opportunity for a ton of different reasons that make a lot of sense to anyone who knows Miami Northwestern, why this game does make a lot of sense.
All right, questions?
Coach, what did you see from the pass rush on Saturday, in particular, Caden Willard?
Yeah, no, it started slow, and then the first quarter or so wasn't awesome, and then made a difference. We started getting home, and obviously Caden was one of the, we got a bunch of guys up there, but Caden probably stood out more. We had an unfortunate break in the second half. He had a great strip on a play, and I didn't really see it. I was watching down the field, but he stripped it, and he poked the ball out, went right to their offensive lineman, who just happened to be standing there watching the play. I'm not sure, so just one of those. Sometimes the ball, but it was you see it on tape. It was an intentional. He intentionally knocked the ball out. It wasn't like just we hit him and the ball came out. He just like John Saunders. And again, we've worked really hard. Our defensive staff has worked really hard at being aggressive at the football, and it showed Saturday. And that would have been another key turnover if we got it. But Caden's done a good job. But when we get to third down and Corey Suttle and Caden Willard and Brian Ugu and Ty Wise, and we get those guys on the field, all right, and get them rolling. And then Kobe Hilton's doing a good job on our third down pass rush. And then the other thing that helped us as we got going, Earl deflected, I think, 3 balls that cause incompletions. That, again, it's not always just getting the quarterback, but the disruption. And unfortunately, Ertl stripped the ball away from Salopek late. I thought Salopek dropped it. You got a D lineman, and again, incredibly proud of the play Ertl makes, because you got a D lineman. He jumps up, tries to deflect the football. We get it deflected. Then he turns and he sees the ball in the air. He just turned and diving for the ball. He doesn't know who's catching. He literally knocked it out of Salopek's hands. And again, it's hard to fault a guy who's turning and diving and selling out for their team. I wish he wasn't close enough to strip Salopek of the play, and we might have, we would have had the ball down. But again, so batting balls down and getting to the quarterback, and it'll be another key, because they're throwing for 300 and some yards. They got their new quarterback in and transferred from South Carolina, and they're throwing it. They're averaging 460, 70 yards a game and 300 some yards pass and over 100 yards rushing. So pass rush will obviously be a big key.
How did it feel to get Cold Iron back out there into your offense?
Yes.
A little bit, anyway.
Yeah, it was great. And I think he felt good. Obviously, we tried to get the ball to him. It didn't work out. We didn't get the ball. We didn't have success getting the ball to him. It's certainly part of the game plan. But having him back, obviously, we know what kind of weapon he is for us moving forward for the rest of the season, and he's a big piece to our puzzle.
You said after the game on Saturday that you feel like you're seeing the makings of a good football team. And frankly, I was more impressed with your team after the Cincinnati game than I was after the Robert Morris game. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, we do have the makings of a good team. We're not a good team yet. We're certainly not a great team. Maybe we're a good team, but we have ability. We're showing that we can make plays. We can make plays on both sides of the ball, all right? Our kids are preparing, showing up and coming out of the gates, they have the confidence. We're not, like I said, last year at Minnesota, I felt like we dipped our toe in the water in the first half and then we played. Our kids are coming to win these games. There's no doubt about it. You see it in the look in their eyes. You see it in their play when they come out and play. You can see it in their energy level. We have unbelievable character, which every great organization has great character. You don't do it on talent alone. We have great work ethic. Execution, we have a lot of new pieces, and where we thought execution might be way ahead of the game, now you're playing a third game starter at quarterback, so now all of a sudden things are, we thought one side was going to be able to execute at a high level and one side there's going to be some growing pains, and there has been some growing pains defensively as far as our execution every down. Sometimes our execution's excellent. It's not terrible, but it's not the consistently high level that it needs to be. Then in offense, now you're working with the new starting quarterback, and your package shrinks down some. There are a lot of things we like to do. Maybe we'll be able to do as the year goes on, but you're certainly not going to overburden a new starter. So now we got a lot of youth. That's on the field. So if our execution keeps growing and we stay together, and again, we keep handling the bumps in the road, we keep handling, how we handle adversity. I don't know, because again, it's like I said all along, it's a new group of people. We went through a lot. We were up Saturday, we were down, we were back in it, we had a chance, it was right there, it wasn't there. How do you keep playing through all that? So I think we have the makings of a good football team. We still got a lot of work left, and obviously anytime you're that inexperienced at quarterback, it's not going to be as smooth as you would like it to be.
Speaking of quarterback, is there an update on Brett's progress at all?
Yeah, he's most likely won't play again this year. There's a chance he might play, but if it is, it's not going to be till much later. So it's not something. But he's healing up fine. He's going to be fine in the end. But he's going to be out a while, and then we'll make some determinations when and if they clear him this year. We'll make some determinations. But that's really not even our radar right now as far as our team. We're planning on not having him, and we're moving forward in that direction. And so I did like AV's compete level again Saturday. I liked his poise. I thought he competed his tail off. There's some certainly things that he has to do better, like everybody that played in the game, that he will do better. But he'll continue to grow. It's 2 games again. Robert Morris, I loved what I saw, but like I also said, it was he didn't get knocked around. He had plenty of time. He made really good decisions, but he had plenty of time to make decisions. Obviously, Saturday he had less time to make, but I still thought he made mostly good decisions. He missed some things that we'd like to have back, but he also made some plays. And like I said, the fourth down play showed a lot about who he is. Like, he was dead on the 8-yard line. There's a lot of good players between him and the goal line, and he comes 6 inches away from getting us to a one-score game in the fourth quarter, which, you know, based on a year ago, if you said, hey, next year you're going to be one score away in the fourth quarter with some momentum, with the defense playing good, and you get a chance to win a game, I would have said, okay, we'll sign up for that one. We're pretty happy with that, you know. But his compete, and I know he didn't get in, but his compete level on that play, and he was so ticked when he came off the field that he didn't get in, you know. He could just tell in his eyes. He just kind of walked right by me, and you could just tell he wasn't hurt. He just felt like he didn't get it done, and I thought it was an incredible effort to even get to where he did. But the look in his eyes when he walked by me, I didn't really say much to him because I knew he was ticked, you know. And I didn't like, hey, he's an athlete. Let him be an athlete. This is he doesn't want to hear great effort right now. So I'll tell him after the game, great effort, you know. So we love the way he's competing, and I think we'd have rallied around, but it's becoming really easy to rally around him because guys know he's laying it on the line for them for sure, and they know, you know, he's played 2 college football games. You know, it's going to be an up and down process like if you go back to Brett's 3rd game, you know, in college football, like, it's an up and down process. It's not easy. So, and he's going through it, but he's definitely fighting for his teammates.
This is kind of related. Have you noticed anything different in the way some teams might defend you with Avion at quarterback as opposed to Brett, for example? Are they sitting more a little on the run game to try and stifle that? Or?
Yeah. Again, Robert Morris probably wasn't sure who they were playing, so they just kind of run their stuff. Cincinnati runs their stuff. So, you know, Cincinnati runs what Cincinnati runs. They got 15 guys in the box, and they're blitzing all over the place and stunting all over the place, and they're playing man coverage, you know. And they got tremendous athletes that hold up on the perimeter one-on-one, and, you know, on paper, you know, you got to be able to throw the ball a ton on them, but no one has effectively, and they got a bunch of guys in a bunch. So I think moving forward, I think we will notice those things. I think people will attack him differently than they attack Brett, particularly once they kind of feel like they know what we're going to do with them, you know. But I don't know that we've seen that yet, but I think it's coming for sure.
Coach, I just want to ask you about the Northwestern tailback. I mean, he's leading them in rushing and receiving. How do you, for the week of practice, how do you even try to mimic that?
Yeah, he's really strong. Obviously, he has great hands. He's leading receiver. He had 13 catches 2 weeks ago in one game. So they've had 215 touches when you talk about carries and completions. And he's at 91 of the 215 touches. So obviously in the run game. Now they've got 4 really good backs. They got the 3 that play a ton. The Porter kids from right down the road in Cincinnati that we know is a really good player. He can also catch it. The Claire kid that was a great player at BG, he transferred there 2 years ago. He's their 3rd back. He's, you know, he doesn't play a lot, but he's good. We know he's good from, you know, back in his Bowling Green days, and he can catch it too. They do some 2 tailback stuff. But obviously you got to know where Hull is when you guys got 91 touches, you know, and they're going to give him the ball. It's not like you're going to keep them from, you know, he runs routes, and they get it empty, and he runs routes. He's a good receiver. They obviously screen it to him. They obviously get him out of the backfield a bunch of different ways. And so, but you have to obviously be mindful when the guys got, you know, 40+% of their touches, but they use their backs. They really catch it well. Like, the receivers catch well, their tight ends really catch it well. I think I've seen one drop in all the games that we've watched. They all catch it really, really. They got a number of receivers that catch it well, and they got a number of tight ends that catch it well. But obviously that's a large percentage of the action is going that kid's way.